Hello ladies and gentlemen and those in between, welcome back to my channel. Everett here, and today we're going to talk about Swab Test, the series. Before we talk about my personal thoughts and opinions of this series, let me give you a little bit of information about this series. Swab Test, the series, is produced by the Powerhouse Ensemble. There are a total of 15 episodes for this series, and this is directed by Joey Perez. And if you guys have no idea of who he is, Joey Perez is a Filipino theater, movie, and a television actor, and a comedian specifically. He is also a director, filmmaker, singer, writer, film producer, and a TV host. He rose to fame back in 2013 when he starred in his launching movie entitled Bikekam, Ang Nanay Kong Becky. And I remember watching this movie in the cinema together with my ex-boyfriend. Bikekam, now that is a movie that I want to watch. That movie star is Tom Rodriguez, is a rising star and is one of the phenomenal movie stars in the Philippine industry. And that is Joey Perez, and I heard that he's a veteran theater actor, and I really wonder how he handles the movie. What do you think of that movie? What are you talking about? I don't understand Ilonggo. Speak English, please.
Shut up.
And Don is buying our tickets right now, and I'm happy because I don't have to pay for anything.
We got our ticket. Let's go and watch Bikekam.
Anyway, if you are watching this video, hi, ex-boyfriend. I hope you're doing fine. Oh my gosh. Moving right along, I actually didn't start watching this series up until its 7th episode was uploaded to YouTube because, honestly speaking, I didn't really have a good first impression of the series. The only time when I got intrigued by this series was when I saw one video clip from the series on Twitter, and I was like, wow. Two guys kissing with tongue, like both of them have gone fasting for a week, and now they're starving to death, like they're so hungry and they're ready to swallow one another's sausage. Oh my god, why do you guys have a dirty mind? I'm talking about food, okay? Food, sausage. On a serious note, I wasn't impressed at all because I felt like it was a clickbait, and let's admit it, at that time the kissing scenes of Ace and Sky from Mighty the series were controversial, and a lot of BL fans were curious about those kissing scenes, and that's pretty much how Mighty the series acquired popularity, and I felt like Swab Test was just jumping on the bandwagon. But despite of my second thoughts about this series, I still gave this series a try. Swab Test is a story of a nurse, Gabriel, who struggles hard after breaking up with his girlfriend, and a college student, Giorgio, who struggles along with his transgender mom in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic in the Philippines. Both of them live next door, and at first, Gabriel hates Giorgio, assuming that Giorgio steals his car key when in fact, Giorgio just tries to give the key back to him because he unconsciously drops it to the ground. As days go by, both of them have a rough time dealing with one another, but one day, when Gabriel gets drunk and throws up in front of his dorm room, Giorgio helps to take him to his room and give him a sponge bath. And all of a sudden, everything changes, which results in their colorful love story. Now, let's talk about two main characters, Gabriel and Giorgio. Gabriel is played by Jerome Palperan, and he is a Filipino actor, businessman, and realtor. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, and he was born on November 15, 1991, so that makes him a Scorpio. And I'm not surprised by how he played his role in the series because Scorpio in general are brave, and I admire Jerome's bravery to play his role on another level. In this series, Gabriel is a nurse who seems to lose the direction and the meaning of his life after breaking up with his girlfriend, and this heartbreaking situation brings out the worst in him. He goes bitter toward life, and he feels like he is all alone and the world is all against him. One day, he meets Giorgio, who is played by Ellie Silan. I don't exactly know how to pronounce his name. Here we go again with the family names, with the names. I'm so sorry. Ellie is a Filipino actor and a model, and he graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy from the University of Southern Philippines Foundation, which is located in Cebu City, Philippines. And he is pretty much active in social media, specifically TikTok. He reminds me so much of Anton Bernardo and Fernando Montenegro, who are both softcore porn stars in the Philippines back in the 1990s. Softcore porn star. You know what that means. Shh. In this series, Giorgio is a student who lives together with his transgender mom next to Gabriel's dorm room. Gabriel meets Giorgio by chance when Gabriel drops his car key to the ground, and Giorgio picks it up and gives it back to Gabriel. However, instead of thanking Giorgio for the kindness he shows, Gabriel accuses Giorgio of stealing his car key. So just like any other BL series, their relationship doesn't start off pretty well. This is more like a cat and dog type of love story where the two main characters hate each other at first, and then one of them gets sick and then the other one takes care of him, and all of a sudden they feel something extra special toward one another. How different. That's something I've never seen before. Just kidding. Anyway, personally, I really love the chemistry between Gabriel and Giorgio because they're the type of BL couple that can make you want to fall in love by merely looking at them. And I love their cuteness, and at the same time, their chemistry is effortless. They're not just like other BL couples who obviously try their hardest for the sake of fan service. And I love how natural and effortless their chemistry is. And additionally, I think that both of them did an amazing job. This BL couple is underrated, and to be honest, they deserve much more attention and recognition. Their acting is pretty natural, especially their interaction with one another. And I just hope to see more of them in another BL series. Aww. Other than two main characters, Gabriel and Giorgio, this series has a lot of supporting characters whose names I honestly can't remember any longer. I'm so sorry. But there's another character I would love to talk about, and he is Achilles, played by Benj Espina. And just like Ellie, Benj is also pretty active in TikTok, and I think that he is such a perfect actor for a third party. In this series, he is Achilles, and he is Gabriel's best friend, who is secretly head over heels in love with Gabriel. He comes to a point where his obsession gets totally out of control, which causes him to go bananas in the name of love. I honestly love looking at Jerome, Ellie, and Benj, known as Gabriel, Giorgio, and Achilles respectively, because the three of them make a perfect love triangle. Yes, they may not be well-known actors in the Philippines, but how intense they play their roles is really convincing, and hats off to Benj Espina for the phenomenal portrayal of an irritating antagonist. Alright, let's talk about my personal thoughts and opinions of this series, and let me be honest with you guys, and I hope that you don't personally take this against me, but this series cuts both ways, and by that I mean there are good things and not so good things about this series. First of all, as I've already mentioned, the best thing about this series are the two main characters plus the antagonist, and I'm talking about Gabriel, Giorgio, and Achilles. And as I've already said, the three of them make a perfect love triangle. And I love how courageous and daring the three of them in terms of portraying their roles on another level, and their acting is remarkable. Secondly, I love the music background. I wish I could play the music background while talking about all of these things, but it might have copyright claims, so I'd rather not do so. Every time the music starts playing in the background, it just gives extra punches to the scenes, and it highlights every sweet, sickening moment. And most of the time, it would make me teary-eyed because the original soundtrack itself is very sweet to the soul. It sounds very romantic, and it can pierce through your heart. And you know that feeling when you just want to fall in love again? And I think that its original soundtrack is one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard for a BL series. Aww. Now, there are also a few things I'm not really happy about this series. First off, the cinematography is a little bit inconsistent. At one point, some scenes give you this cinematic type of cinematography, but at certain times, there are issues with camera works and angles, like they're a little bit of shaky and wobbly, and to be honest, it's quite a bit disturbing. Secondly, the genre of this series is somewhat confusing. Well, obviously this is a BL series, but what I mean by that is that I'm confused about what type of storyline it exactly is, because it just switches from a romance to comedy, to romantic comedy, to thriller, to drama, and even worse, to musical. I'm not really complaining about that, but to my mind, I wish they had focused much more on one or two genres than mixing up all of these genres in one series. Additionally, there are some funny scenes intended to be funny, but not so funny. You know what I mean? I don't understand why, with all of Jacqueline's wealth and abundance, they only eat vegetables. And what's with having breakfast in the rain or eating dung on Christmas Eve? I honestly don't get the logic and the relevance to the entire series. And quite frankly, this series actually gives me this vibe of this Vietnamese BL series entitled Active Boys, where the mothers of the two main characters are also transgender women, and even the teachers at school are also transgender women. So I'm not really sure whether or not they modeled after this Vietnamese series regarding characters and whatnot, and I don't see any problems with it, but I feel like it's more like a copycat. Does that even make sense? You know what I mean? Finally, I'm not fond of these unnecessary dramas. Like when the 8th episode ends, there's this big caption that flashes out on the screen saying, "The End." And there's this end credits which appear after the 14th episode. I was like, what's with the drama? I mean, I don't seriously get it. It's misleading and somewhat upsetting. Really, I don't think that's commendable at all. But overall, I must say that this series is worth binge watching. And if you guys haven't seen this series yet, you better get set, ready, and go. Ready, set, go. This series also tackles unrequited love, and in the series, Achilles is abnormally obsessively in love with Gabriel to a point where he's all willing to do everything in order to ruin the relationship of Gabriel and Giorgio. So for today's video, we're going to talk about 10 truthful signs of unrequited love. Relationships are the most beautiful thing you can experience, especially when the person you love feels the same way. Unfortunately, it doesn't always happen the way we want. Unrequited love is one of the worst things you can experience when falling in love. Here are 10 truthful signs of unrequited love. 1. You're always anxious. Whether you're with them or apart, you're always anxious. Normally, this is a red flag showing that something isn't quite right in the relationship. 2. You overlook their flaws. When you're infatuated with someone, there's this tendency to overlook their flaws. While nobody's perfect, someone that keeps making excuses for every time they hurt you can be a sign of unrequited love. 3. They flirt with others. This alone is concrete evidence that they don't feel the same way. They shouldn't be flirting with others if they're interested in you, especially knowing that it will sabotage their chances of a real relationship with you. 4. You feel alone. In a relationship, you shouldn't feel alone, but you should feel partnership and appreciation. If this is how you feel, this might be unrequited love. 5. You keep giving. Relationships are all about give and take. So if you do most of all the giving while they do the taking, this just isn't a relationship at all. 6. You do more work. Actions speak louder than words, so you can tell that someone loves you even in the simplest ways. Effort isn't always about grand gestures, but if they refuse to do even the smallest gestures, they don't love you back at all. 7. Something always feels wrong. You know it's unrequited love when someone constantly feels wrong. In a healthy and balanced relationship, you feel safe even when things go wrong. When one is unloved, everything feels messy and draining. 8. The blame is on you. When someone doesn't love you enough or at all, they can twist the truth for their selfish benefit. This is both toxic and manipulative. 9. They ignore you. Time is the most important thing in a relationship, and with unrequited love, they can ignore you for hours without even a single message as to how you're doing. 10. Physical intimacy is lacking. You know, something is lacking when there's no intimacy at all. Relationships are all about passion and intimacy. So when you don't feel the love when you physically connect, This is unrequited love. Swap Test is one BL series that shows us that we must do our utmost before giving up on love. Love is the most wonderful feeling any one of us can ever feel in our entire life. And when we are in love, we tend to do whatever it takes to fight for it. However, when the one we love doesn't feel in the same way as we feel toward them, we should gracefully exit out of the scene. We mustn't force anyone to love us back, because the more we do so, the more we only hurt our own selves. This is a hopeless case that normally leads us to chasing after that love, even if we know that they will never change their minds about loving us back. The worst part of it is the hopeless romantic in us thinking that if we keep trying, maybe their mixed signals mean something more than just friendship. But in truth, we're just cooping ourselves up in a world of lies which we ourselves create. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you like this video, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified when my next video comes out. Peace outie! Swap Test is one BL series that shows us that